What is up, gang? It's your boy DG just coming at you with episode 2 of Just a Dude Talking Sports. Happy Monday morning to you. I hope you enjoyed your weekend with a bunch of NFL and college football. We're back at you on this Monday morning with some more NFL remarks and comments and takeaways. The first thing I want to get to, I gotta give your boy Jerry Jones some credit. But in true Jerry fashion, he waits until kickoff time to re-up Dak Prescott on his contract. But boy, in true Jerry Jones fashion, he gave Dak the bag. Let's take a look at some of the terms of the contract. So Dak Prescott, ninth year QB, fourth rounder out of Mississippi State. Just yesterday, before the kickoff, yesterday against the Cleveland Browns, if you will, Dak signed a 4-year, $240 million contract, which includes a signing bonus of $80 million, of which of that 240, here's the key. And this is what you always have to look at with NFL contracts, because the rest of it is useless. It's how much guaranteed money is the player getting. In Dak's case, $231 million of the $240 million contract is totally guaranteed. So man, Dak Prescott got paid, and rightfully so. I mean, say what you want about Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys haven't won anything since 1996. That was 1996. They haven't won any championships. So, but say what you want about Dak. He keeps Dallas relevant, and he keeps them competitive. And if Dallas wouldn't have paid him this year, someone else would have. Dak would have had his suitors to get paid. So, I mean, kudos to Dak Prescott for just staying steady. He's a really steady quarterback. I don't know if I would say Dak is in the upper echelon of NFL quarterbacks, but he's really steady. He's not bad. He always gives you a chance to win. And like I said, he keeps Dallas really relevant from a winning perspective. And your boy Jerry Jones finally got it done. I should play my Jerry Jones clip, right?
Settle down just a little bit. As a Cowboys, settle down just a little bit, but settle down just a little bit.
Settle down just a little bit. Gotta love Jerry Jones, man. But they got it done. Dak is represented by Todd France of CAA Sports. Got to put a plug in there for that. But man, what a monster deal for Dak Prescott. Moving on. Some other things that came out just yesterday, actually early this morning. The University of Pittsburgh fired Heather Lyke, which was she was the AD for Pitt over the last 7 years. This was pretty stunning. I believe Lyke just got an extension a few years ago, so it was pretty stunning for Pitt. And they usually don't fire any athletic directors, but they fired her after 7 years. Her contract was set to expire next year in 2025. She just received AD of the Year just in 2023. And, I'm wondering if this is a precursor of things to come, meaning Pat Narduzzi, you better be careful. Lyke is the one who signed Pat Narduzzi to his most recent contract extension that he received in 2023 after leading the Pitt Panthers to the Peach Bowl. But since then, Pat Narduzzi's record as a head coach has been pretty shaky, to say the least. You got to remember now, Pat Narduzzi cut his teeth as a defensive coordinator coming from Michigan State. So he's a defensive-minded coach. And why do I mention that? Glad you asked. Last year, the Pitt Panther defense was fourth worst in the ACC. Pitt gave up 328 points, which leads to they gave up 27.3 points a game. The only defenses in the entire ACC that were worse last year, Boston College, Georgia Tech, and Virginia. So, Pat Nard, and keep in mind that Pitt barely escaped beating Cincinnati by 1 point on Saturday. And so they don't look all that hot as an ACC football program right now. So I wonder if Heather Light getting fired, if Pat Narduzzi isn't the next one to be shown the door. I'm not really sure what his buyout is, but if Narduzzi survives not getting fired after another subpar year this year, it will simply be because Pitt doesn't want to buy him out. They don't want to pay that buyout. So I found that interesting for Pitt to fire Like I said, the defense, Pitt's rushing defense last year was the worst in the entire FBS, which is hard because Pitt is always known for a stout defense, even going way back in the day from Hugh Green and Chris Dolman and those guys. But last year they allowed 150 yards per game on the ground. That was the worst defense from Pitt football since 2018. So, let's keep those things in mind. Some other items. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Boise State, they're giving folks a problem. And that running back, I got to get his name right. Let's look at the running back for Boise State. Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty, folks, is a 5'9", 215-pound junior from Jacksonville, Florida. And this kid is running up. In 2 games here for Boise State, Jeanty has 45 carries for 459 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's 10.2 yards per average. And that's against two pretty good teams. Oregon, which is a top 10 team. And they also played, what was the first game? Georgia Southern. And, they beat Georgia Southern 56-45, which they probably should have. But in that game, Jeanty had 20 carries for 267 yards. He followed that up Saturday against Oregon, 25 carries for 192 yards. So the kid is tearing it up. In both of those games, showing what a big play guy he is. Against Georgia Southern, Jeanty had a long run of 77. And he followed that up against the, 5 stars of Oregon, if you will, with a long run of 70 yards. So this kid is a real deal, and he's certainly going to be one of the top backs to get drafted by the NFL this year, should he come out. So kudos to Ashton Jeanty. Man, who saw the New York Giants this weekend? And those ugly, awful, putrid uniforms. Like, who did that? Who's supposed to wear that stuff? But the Giants were awful. And Daniel Jones, again, man, you talking about robbing the bank. I mean, if the New York Giants can redo that again, what you do is you keep Saquon Barkley and let Daniel Jones go, folks. I mean, this guy is beyond mediocre. He's below mediocre. Tossing another pick 6 just like he did in the preseason. If you're an NFL starting quarterback, you shouldn't be tossing pick 6s in the preseason. But Daniel Jones did it once again. And you talking about somebody overpaid. Let's see what Daniel Jones is getting paid this year. Daniel Jones signed last year a 4-year, $160 million contract. $36 million signing bonus with $92 million of that guaranteed. The New York Giants will regret the day they signed that man to that contract because his play exhibits that he's nowhere worth that amount of money. But I saw that yesterday and I was like, man, this guy, they lost to the Vikings. You know, Sam Darnold looked like the next coming of Dan Marino against the Giants. So it was a poor performance, but it was even worse because the Giants had the ugliest NFL uniforms I've ever seen in my life. Well, I'll take that back. Maybe Green Bay's throwback uniforms are worse, but the Packers win, so no one cares. The Giants don't, and a lot of people care. Also, did you guys see the Tyreek Hill incident? That was really bizarre to me because that apparently happened right outside of Hard Rock Stadium. And I don't know if he was pulled over for speeding or what have you, but I mean, Miami-Dade police basically had Tyreek Hill face down, handcuffed. And then his teammate was riding by, wanted to stop and make sure everything was okay. Calais Campbell, they pulled him out of the truck and had him face down. So that situation really bears, I can't wait to see what the explanation is from the Miami-Dade PD. That seems a little fishy to me, especially when you're so close to the stadium. I don't know if Tyreek Hill was apparently speeding or whatever the case may be, but I mean, to be face down that way is crazy. I heard a bad joke. I heard a bad joke this morning that bears repeating. Tyreek Hill, you can't stop him. You can only hope to detain him. I'm sorry, that was bad, but I had to say it. Moving right along here. And probably my final quip is Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Man, getting bombed yesterday by New Orleans, 47-10. And the reason why I think that's a little alarming, now you can't overreact. It was the first game of the season, but Carolina look exactly like they did last year. They brought in a new head coach in Dave Canales. Bryce Jones apparently put on about 15 pounds of muscle, but as the number one pick, he still looks the same. He looks too small. He looks too weak for the NFL. I mean, his arm strength is simply not there. And, I wish Bryce Jones all the best, but the New Orleans D-backs were never threatened. They just basically sit on all the routes because they don't feel like Bryce Jones nor the Carolina Panthers receivers, to be quite honest, but definitely Bryce Young, he cannot beat them over the top because he doesn't display the arm strength. And I don't know where the Carolina Panthers go from here. That's so far is looking bad. And you know what else makes Bryce Young look even worse? C.J. Stroud. Remember, Bryce Young went number 1. C.J. Stroud went number 2. C.J. Stroud, folks, is a stud. That kid is going to be a very, very good NFL quarterback. I mean, already this year, he does not look like a second-year player. He looks like a guy that's been lacing him up in the NFL for 5-6 years. And as he just plays more, he's going to get better and better. And Houston did a great job this past offseason. They got him more weapons. They got him, Diggs from Buffalo. They signed OBJ. I don't know when OBJ is going to be in the building or ready. Excuse me, they did not sign OBJ. OBJ went to Miami. Tank Dell is back off of injury. So, Houston with C.J. Stroud, watch out for that ball club. But Bryce Young just does not look like he's progressing. And a lot of that might have to do with the Carolina Panthers offensive line. And to be quite honest, that's just a crummy organization. I mean, it might be just a systemic problem from the head man, David Tepper himself on down. It just does not look right in Carolina. And Bryce Young just looks too small and unimposing for the pro game right now. His arm strength is not there and he doesn't scare anyone. Well, gang, that's it. That's all I had. Just the few notes to share, and hope to be back with you. If you like this video, please subscribe and follow. Love to hear some comments as well from you guys. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. See you later.